Hello everyone. Namaste. How are you all? I'm sure your CAT preparation is going on full fervor. I'm Shruti Tiwari, a VRC expert at Top Rankers Supercrats CAT. Let's get started with our session. This is how you feel when you sit for analysis after a mock. You're baffling. पता नहीं कहाँ गड़बड़ हो रही है. जब पैसेज सॉल्व किया था, बहुत ध्यान से सॉल्व किया था, बहुत अच्छे से सारी स्ट्रैटेजी लगाई थी, सारी ट्रिक्स भी लगाई थी, मैजिकल ट्रिक्स भी लगाई थी, जिनसे हमें श्योर शॉट सक्सेस मिलनी थी. पर ये तो सारे आंसर्स गलत जा रहे हैं. मोस्ट ऑफ योर आंसर्स आर गेटिंग रॉन्ग. व्हाट वेंट रॉन्ग? यू डिड स्किमिंग एंड स्कैनिंग. यू डिड स्पीड रीडिंग. ज्यादा टाइम बिल्कुल खराब नहीं किया था. फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ, हर पैराग्राफ का फर्स्ट सेंटेंस, लास्ट पैराग्राफ. You didn't waste a single second. You were so focused. स्पीड रीडिंग की. 3 मिनट में पैसेज पढ़ना है, 90 सेकंड में एक क्वेश्चन करना है, 50 सेकंड में दूसरा क्वेश्चन करना है, 1 मिनट से ज्यादा किसी क्वेश्चन में नहीं लेना. यू फॉलोड एवरीथिंग. टाइम लिमिट सॉल्व अप्लाई की थी सॉल्व करते वक्त. स्पाइडोग्राफ भी बनाया था, आइडिया मैपिंग की थी ताकि बिल्कुल टाइम वेस्ट नहीं हो. बस डायग्राम बनाया. पॉइंट नंबर 1, पॉइंट नंबर 2, यू डिड दैट. And this was the magical trick. You were surprised to see कि कितने पंडित हो यार आप. मतलब कितनी दिमाग है आपके अंदर यार. कितनी बढ़िया ट्रिक थी ये कि पैसेज में हमेशा टुवर्ड्स द एंड सारा का सारा कंक्लूजन निकल के आता है. क्रक सारा आखिरी में रहता है. तो rather than reading from top to bottom, let me read from bottom to top so that मेरा टाइम ही वेस्ट नहीं हो. And you applied that. पर फिर क्या हुआ? आंसर्स तो गलत ही जा रहे हैं. कहीं कोई स्कोर इम्प्रूवमेंट नहीं है, बल्कि इस बार तो नेगेटिव में जा रहा है स्कोर. तो क्या हो रहा है? दीज आर ऑल गिमिक्स. ये सब सुनने में अच्छे लगते हैं. ये सिर्फ आपको भरोसा दिलाते हैं कि कोई बात नहीं यार, आपकी रीडिंग अच्छी नहीं है ना हो, आपको पढ़ना अच्छा नहीं लगता, मत होने दो. आप फिर भी कैट में बहुत अच्छा स्कोर करोगे. आप ये ट्रिक्स लगा लो, आपके फंडे क्लियर हो ना हो, ट्रिक्स आपके काम आ जाएंगे. कोई ट्रिक्स काम नहीं आने वाले. In CAT, these gimmicks have no role at all. Before I tell you how to read an RC in CAT exam, let's first understand what could be the structure of an expected RC in CAT 2023. पास्ट के 4-5 सालों के कैट के आरसीज को अगर हम स्टडी करें तो क्या स्ट्रक्चर निकल के आता है एक पैसेज का. क्या टॉपिक हो सकता है उस कैट आरसी का? यू टेल मी, व्हाट कुड बी द टॉपिक ऑफ योर कैट आरसी? It could range from science and technology like quantum mechanics, relativity की theory, electromagnetism, God knows, spectrum, light, refraction, biotechnology, genetics, robotics, aeronautics. साइंस में कोई सा भी टॉपिक आ सकता है. Then from that they could move to maybe history, art and culture. किसी एक पर्टिकुलर सोसाइटी का कल्चर ले लेंगे. कोई ट्राइबल्स हैं जिनका बहुत पुराना जो है इतिहास ले लिया उन्होंने. They could take passages from philosophy. They could take passages which are relating philosophy of West with philosophy of East, maybe science of West with the spirituality of East, Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Kant, Nietzsche, किसी भी philosopher की कोई भी concept ले लेंगे. They could take passages from clinical psychologists. They could talk about human behavior, animal behavior. What could be a probable source of CAT RC? Let me tell you the sources of RC, which I've been telling my students in the class as well. Aeon Essays, Smithsonian Magazine, Scientific American, New York Times, Guardian. What are the type of questions in CAT RCs? They are indirect, they are implicit, they are inferential. They are based on critical reasoning. You have to read between the lines. You have to understand what is not written explicitly there and then solve the questions. Questions are on parallel reasoning, assumptions, and hence you have to be particular about reading. What are the type of options? The right answer doesn't seem to be correct, and all the wrong answers, which are traps, They are so tempting that you end up marking those wrong answers. Let's have a look. I have some specimen from 2022. Look, what are the kind of questions they ask? They are asking the questions like, which of the following set of words and phrases best serve as keywords to the passage? So they are actually asking you to paraphrase the entire passage. Now, if you're only skimming and scanning, will you be able to identify these words? No. You will be going with superficial reading and then you will end up getting into wrong words. Now, if this is a question, which of the following statements, if false, could be seen as contradicting the facts or the arguments in the passage? Now, this is a double negative question. If you do not read the question properly and you do not understand the question properly, that it is not actually talking about a false statement contradicting, but it is actually asking you the true statement which is in alignment with the passage. You will actually get the question wrong and hence you'll mark the wrong answer. This is another classic question. Which one of the following, if true about classic Maya, would invalidate the purpose of iPhone example in the passage? So, the main idea of the passage or the main topic of the passage is getting related with an example which is given in the passage. Now, if you are actually applying skimming and scanning, you won't read the examples because, according to you, examples have no relevance at all. So, you will rush through the passage and hence you will get caught. And now, in solving this particular question, you will again go back to that particular example, reread it, come back, and then solve the passage. Then you will get confused. Then you will go back again, and then you will read it again, and hence end up wasting a lot of time. You will not be able to mark the correct answer. Less chances of getting right answer. Why? Because you don't know the flow of the passage. So, word of caution here. How to read CAT RCs? You should read RC with a purpose. You have to maintain focus while you're reading the passage. Do not get into this speed reading gimmick. Read with a purpose. Identify the flow of thought of the author, no matter what is the topic of that particular RC, whether it is familiar or it is unfamiliar. If the passage is familiar, obviously you will be willing to read it and you'll be able to identify the point or the purpose very easily. But if the passage is not familiar, then too you have to have patience to read the passage completely and identify the main point. Ask yourself and keep asking yourself with every paragraph with which you read, what's the point the author is making? And then move to the next paragraph. Now, let's understand how to read RC then. The first and foremost thing which I tell my students, read with a purpose, read with a lot of focus. You should not be getting out of focus while you are solving the passage. सेकेंड पैराग्राफ पे आकर सोच रहे हैं कि पढ़ क्यों रहे थे. That should not happen with you in CAT. And hence, you should solve RC for getting those 12 marks. 4 questions, 12 marks, I should get it. Be very greedy. And hence, you should not lose focus while you're reading the passage. While you're doing that, do not get bored or intimidated by familiar or unfamiliar topics. There are both the sides. The familiar topic aata hai, students get tempted towards it and they get like they waste a lot of time. And the topic is unfamiliar, it is not very easy to comprehend, they get bored, they have aversion towards it. Both the situations are not at all good. You should be very practical in your approach. You should solve the RC and get out of it quickly. Do not get into reading names, difficult words, jargons. You should not get into it. If there is a difficult name of a scientist or probably a name of a university or something like that, you should read just the initial, Mr. X from city Y. That's it. You should be able to ask yourself with every paragraph, what's the point the author is making? Why has he given that example? What is he asserting? Keep asking yourself. When you have this tendency of doing it, you will never lose focus. And towards the end, the flow of idea will be very clear in your mind. You should read the options and the question stem thoroughly like a small child, word by word. We have just seen in these specimens that questions can be really ambiguous or they could be really tricky. So, if you do not read the question and the options word by word, you might skip a very important thing in that question and end up marking a wrong answer. Like if you do not read except, if you do not write which is the least likely to agree with, so you have missed that least. Now you are marking an answer with likely to agree with. So you will obviously end up losing a lot of marks with this. Don't do that. Elimination is the key of getting good accuracy in RC. But you'll not be able to eliminate options like that. You will be able to do that only when you read options word by word. You'll be able to very clearly identify that, okay, this option is missing on the central part of the passage. This option is going probably wayward in the context. This particular option has extra additional information which is not relevant in the passage. So you'll be able to eliminate options very quickly. Otherwise, most of the questions, two to three options, you'll be confused. All seem to be correct or all seem to be incorrect. What to choose and what not to choose. This should not happen with you while you're solving a CAT RC. Last word of advice, you should solve RCs from authentic source only. Internet is flooding with RC sources. Markets everywhere you'll get CAT books with a lot of RCs. But not everything is relevant. Not everything will give you the actual CAT experience. And hence you should try hands on only authentic sources. Better solve previous year papers for maybe 5 to 7 years and stick to authentic sources, one or two here and there. Don't overburden yourself. That would be overwhelming. And second, in one sitting, you should be able to solve 3 to 4 RCs at least. होता क्या है, 2 RC सॉल्व करने के बाद थकान होने लग जाती है, तीसरे और चौथे पे आते आते में नींद लगने लग जाती है, फोकस हटने लग जाता है, एंड दैट वुड बी डेडली इन कैट. सो यू हैव टू इंक्रीज योर एपेटाइट फॉर रीडिंग. इसलिए बोल रही हूँ कि आपकी एक्यूरेसी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं होनी चाहिए. इट विल टेक अ लिटिल टाइम, वो सिटिंग के लिए टाइम लगेगा, एंड हेंस यू हैव टू एक्चुअली increase your willpower. So my request to you is ground work करना है, rosy picture create नहीं करनी है. Do that hard work right now, it will pay off. So that's all for today. This is Shruti Tiwari signing off for today. Bye.